Honey, I'm still free. Take a chance on me.
This is Passion with Dr. Laurie Betito on Montreal's news talk leader, CJAD 800.
Tonight on Passion, dating dilemmas, and we're talking about, we always talk about being single, dating, etc., but the mistakes that singles make, and can people be happily single, or are most single people frustrated because they do want to be in a relationship? Are you questioning why you're not in a relationship? What's wrong? Are you doing something that is stopping you from doing this? What are maybe some of the issues? 514-790-0991. All our callers go into a draw for a pair of tickets to attend the Sextravaganza event at Club Bain Douche on December 15. So mark your calendars. A great evening of entertainment planned. Hi, Lisa. Welcome to the show.
Yes, hi.
Hi.
I'm calling because I'm frustrated. I've been single since 10 years now.
Okay.
And it's like, is there any guy here in Montreal?
Are you putting out a call? Okay, describe yourself. Let's see if we can find you the guy. I'm just kidding. Tell me what's going on.
I'm hot, pretty,
So you're pretty.
Adorable, love to go out, love to have fun. And I can't find anybody.
Oy, oy. How old are you, Lisa?
I'm 31.
And let's hear your phone number. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Don't give out your phone number. We're not doing that. But let's see if Frank can help you with this. Frank, what questions would you have for Lisa?
Okay, well, let me just start off as a guy, and I'm going to answer exactly the impression I got from you now. When asked, what are you like? What are you looking for? You told me what you look like and that you like to go out and have fun.
Yeah.
But that doesn't really tell me whether or not we can have a relationship. So can you tell me some of your values? Tell me some of the things that you're looking for in another human being. Serious
relationship, very genuine, honest. Not somebody who is married and lies and lied and said that he's single. Somebody like that who's has the same character as me. Who wants to go out, who doesn't want to stay at home. It's boring. Just a little quiet time or a movie is great. That's what I'm looking for. Okay,
now you still told me about all the distractions and the fun things to do. Yeah. Now, when you said genuine, what do you mean by genuine? Tell me about something, give me an element of your personal life that you want to share with someone.
Personal life? Can you be more specific? Because I have a lot of ideas running through my head.
Okay, what's a value or a cause that you believe in?
I believe there is love out there. I believe in loving somebody and growing old with that person.
So you believe in commitment?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly.
What other things unrelated to relationships? I think Frank's trying to get at, let's see what else about you. What other things that you're passionate about, for example?
Sitting down, watching TV. Going to the movies, like I said before, restaurants.
Do you volunteer anywhere?
Sorry?
Do you volunteer anywhere?
No, I don't. No, I work in a public area.
Okay. Because everything you've told me so far is so very vague. And
I know,
what I'm looking
but
for...
I mean, it's I don't know, me personally, like I said, looking for somebody just to grow old with, just to settle down with, just to have the same things that I like in life,
But what Frank's getting at is the things you like in life are on the surface. He's trying to get at what's the deep Lisa about. What does she care about in life? What are her causes? What are the things she's passionate about? And if you don't have an answer, it's okay. But if you don't have an answer, these are things you need to work on.
Okay.
Actually,
I don't have an answer for that.
Okay,
but
but Lisa, this might be the mistake. Okay,
yeah.
That you need to be, you need to have things about you that are more in depth, I guess. So that make you also more interesting as a human being.
Oh, okay.
So that's why when Frank asked you, do you volunteer, that might be, find a cause, something that you could back up, that you could go behind, that you might get passionate about, whether it's, animals or look, if you've heard my show, I'm very passionate about sex education. That's something I could talk to you for hours about because I'm passionate about that. Find something you're passionate about that makes you interesting, and you might see a difference there, because otherwise what you're looking for is the surface stuff and you want to get to the depth stuff.
Okay.
One more thing, Lisa.
Yes.
You keep saying how you're looking for someone that likes the things you like.
Yes.
Something that is very attractive is a person that takes an interest in what other people like. So when you're talking to people, rather than say, I want someone who likes the things I like, turn it around. Look at the person that you're interested in and say, what are the things that are important to you? What do you like to do? Let me take an interest in that. That is an attractive quality.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right, Lisa?
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. I hope we were a wee bit helpful there.
So do I. I mean, this is one of the things that singles do struggle with. They're very, very vague, and they assume that most people understand what it is they mean.
Right.
When I'm coaching a woman, for example, and she says, I want a guy who's confident. Well, give me a specific example. Give me a story. What does confidence mean to you? Because how a guy interprets what confidence is and how another guy is going to interpret what confidence means is going to be very different things.
Right. Well, we got a couple of text messages for Lisa. One of them wants to know if a married guy is okay. Lisa said no married guys, okay? And one from Pat who says we can give Lisa his number. So I'm not sure I want to play matchmaker here tonight, but I don't know. We toyed with the idea of doing some kind of matchmaking thing on air. Maybe we should, reconsider that kind of thing, but it's a little tricky.
It'll be entertaining when the stories come back.
I'm too afraid of that. I'm too afraid of that. All right, I don't know how I'm going to help this person. This is a help, please. I'm a Hasidic father of 7. In other words, a religious, an Orthodox Jew of 7 kids, and my wife wants more kids. I'm done. I don't want to be 60 and still going to PTAs. How do I handle this? I love her dearly. That's a tough one because...
It is a tough one, but first and foremost, you have to be honest with your partner about what it is you want. The second thing you have to look at is, what is it that your wife values about having another child? Is there an emotional fulfillment that she's seeking in having another child that she might be able to find in other ways?
Could be a religious fulfillment, too, for herself, and part of the religious beliefs of having as many as possible, until she's completely... her shop is closed, by nature.
And if that's the case, then maybe seeking the help of, well, in this case, I believe it would be a rabbi.
Yeah, you can see a rabbi about this. Absolutely. I think you need somebody to mediate this and to talk it through so that you can, she can hear your feelings. And having kids is like there's a lot of investment. It's not just money, it's time. And I can understand, at 60 not wanting to have to start with, from scratch with diapers and I mean, it's years of investment until they go off and be on their own. So
being a parent is more than just a job. It's an entire lifestyle.
Yeah.
As a parent myself, I can tell you that I love my son. I just never anticipated how exhausting being a parent was going to be.
Yeah, imagine being the father of 7.
I can't imagine it. I honestly, at this point, I can't. And kudos to people who have lots of kids and are managing large families. It's a challenge today.
Yeah. And just as a side note story, I have a friend who had 5 kids, and that was a big enough family. And her husband goes, oh, let's have one more. And okay, and she was born to do this. But she said, okay, fine, we'll have number 6. Well, she ended up with number 6 and number 7. So she got twins. So you might, have 7 now, but you may end up with 9.
I remember reading somewhere, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the more children you have, the more likely it is that you would have twins.
A multiple pregnancy.
Yeah, I think
I've heard that too. Yeah. So there's that too. You may want to, go and talk with your wife, talk with a rabbi. If that doesn't work, talk with a therapist. maybe sit down with her obstetrician, but you have to be honest about how you feel. And it has nothing to do with how you feel about her or how you feel about your 7 children or any of that stuff. So she just needs to know that you love her that much. And,
And keep in mind that the older you are, the higher the risks of birth defects. And
even for the males, actually.
Yes.
Even from the sperm of the men.
That's right. A new study came out that shows that it was always thought that, well, even a much older man with a younger woman would be able to produce healthy children. Now it's being discovered that the older the man is,
the more chance also, right?
Yeah.
Of defects and stuff. So there's that element to discuss as well, which you may want to include maybe the obstetrician, her gynecologist obstetrician about it. Thank you very much for writing in. 514-800 is where you can send your text message, or you can give us a call at 514-790-0991. We're talking about being single and the mistakes that some singles make, and maybe you don't realize it, but maybe you're making a mistake, and maybe that's why you've been single for so long. I'll tell you a little story about another single person I know, and I know he's making these mistakes, and but he's, he keeps making them over and over again, and is still single at 50. So sometimes you got to take a good look at yourself and take some chances. So